Welcome to our video about box and whisker plots. There's two names that you might hear for box and whisker plots. Sometimes they're just called box plots, sometimes box and whisker plots. You can see by the picture that we've got a box and whiskers. The first part that we need to talk about, guys, with box and whisker plots is our vocab. There's labels that go with each of these dots, so let's label them first to know our vocabulary. This first dot is our lowest value, sometimes known as the LE, which stands for lower extreme, and sometimes it's known as the minimum. Our second dot is our LQ, which stands for the lower quartile. That's the middle of the lower half of the numbers. In the middle is our median, which we know breaks our data into two equal parts. Next dot is our UQ, upper quartile, which is the middle of our top half. And last but not least, up here at the top is our upper extreme. It's our highest number, so sometimes it's called the maximum. What's important about box and whisker plots is that they break our data into four equal parts, meaning no matter how our box and whisker plot looks, between the LE and the LQ, 25% of our data is there. Between the LQ and the median, 25%. Between the median and the upper quartile, 25%. And 25% between upper quartile and upper extreme. Okay, keep these things in mind, guys, as we go through the other slides. Okay, we're going to build a box plot together. Here's our data values. Obviously, the first thing we need to do is put them in order. If we're going to be finding the median, and that's an important value, we have to find the middle number. So let's put them in order from least to greatest first. Now that I've got them in order, I can start breaking them into parts. First thing I'm going to do is find the median. Break my data into two parts. The middle number is 21. That breaks my data into two equal parts, so now I have a lower half and an upper half. I need to find the middle of the lower half and the middle of the upper half. Those are my lower quartile and upper quartile. In the middle of my lower half is 17.5. In the middle of my upper half is 38. That is my UQ, or upper quartile. Remember, the other two important dots were lower extreme and upper extreme. So my lower extreme is 15, my smallest value, and my biggest value is 56, my upper extreme. Notice, guys, that I've already got a number line drawn here. It's really important that you don't try and fit your box and whisker plot to your own number line that's not spaced correctly. That's a very common mistake. I've got an evenly spaced number lines. I decided to count by fives. Your intervals must be even. So let's put our dots now. 15, lower extreme. 17.5, I'm going to have to estimate a little bit, about right here. 21 for our median. 38, upper quartile, about right here. and upper extreme 56. Remember that the box goes around the quartiles. Through the median, and then connects to our whiskers. Even though it doesn't look like it's evenly spaced with 25%, it still is in terms of the data. 25% of my data is between each of the quartiles. Here are some analysis questions. Whenever you get a box and whisker plot given to you, these are the types of questions that you're going to be asked. What percent is greater than 9? Well, 9 right here, guys, is my lower quartile. If I know that each quartile represents 25%, then that means greater than 9 will be 3 of the sections, or total of 75%. What percent is less than 9.5? 9.5 is my median. So less than the median, that's this 25% and this 25%. So that's a total of 50%. Another very common question is, what is the IQR, or interquartile range? We find that by taking my upper quartile and subtracting the lower quartile. In this case, my upper quartile UQ is 11 and my lower quartile is 9. So 11 minus 9 is 2. The middle 50% is between what two values? The middle 50%, guys, is talking about the box. So the middle 50% is between 9 and 11. One more, guys. You're going to see a lot of box and whisker plots that compare two different values. So we've got data that compares boys to girls. One thing I want to point out here, guys, is that this one doesn't have a whisker, and that's okay. It just means that the upper extreme and the upper quartile are the same value. Here's the question. What is the difference in the interquartile ranges? So I've got to find the interquartile range for boys and for girls, and then subtract the two, finding the difference. So let's do it for our boys. For boys, my upper quartile is 40, my lower quartile is 30. So 40 minus 30. Boys' interquartile range is 10. For girls, upper quartile 35, lower quartile 28. Subtract the 2. 35 minus 28 is 7. So to find the difference between the two, I just have to find the difference between these two numbers. 10 minus 7 equals 3.